delegation be recommended for introduction into this convention, signs and apparel to reflect the form of government foreign to the American democratic system which we support today. Second!
We reply, John. I don't believe the motion's completed.
We refer primarily to the sign which contains the word "Sir," which we speed-based society with a privileged class. The delegation is therefore denounce their apparel and the government it represents by removing their robe and striking the word "Sir."
What are you suggesting?
Actually, this convention is sent to the said delegation.
Don Mulford, in a surprise move, has moved here today to censure the Hutchison delegation for their bizarre apparel and unusual usage of the word "sir," denoting a privileged class. Mr. Mulford claims that this is entirely foreign to this convention and should be withdrawn. Mr. Wilson, supported by many of the minority delegations here today, has, and much to the exasperation of the chairman of this convention, has ably defended his stand and will be allowed to remain in the convention. And now here's Rand to cover for you the most important office of the day.
And now, the high point of the convention, the nominations for president. Our own anchorman, Cliff Nancaro, will be giving an inspiring nomination speech. Every person here in the hall is waiting with bated breath for the nominations. This is the highest office at Piedmont High School. In a moment, the nominees and candidates.
Fellow students, distinguished delegates, it is my privilege today to nominate Jack Dugan for the office of President of the Associated Students of Piedmont High School. Having served under several board BOC
In the background, you hear the voice of Jack Dugan, who's accepting the nomination for president. In a surprise nomination, the name of Bruce Bushberg was brought before the convention. One could tell by his face that it was actually a surprise. He gratefully declined the nomination, and it is my idea that he wished that his friend and colleague, Jack Dugan, who is now accepting the nomination, would be the nominee for president, as he himself mentioned without actually saying Mr. Dugan's name. Cliff?
Rand, it looks as if we have a wide diversity of candidates here this afternoon, with Jack Dugan, Jim Lively, and Paul Newton all vying for the convention's nomination. All candidates have placed better communication with the Board of Education high on the list of their priorities should they be elected. It will be interesting to watch closely and see how the delegates cast their votes for this, the highest office in the student body. Nominations for the office of president have been closed, and we move now to a roll call vote of the delegations.
Ancient Chinese proverbs say, if the string is long, the kite flies high. With this in mind, the Alva's delegation cast 3 votes for Lively, 1 vote for Dugan.
Sylvia, I've just noticed that all of a sudden the Hutchinson delegation has become quiet. You have anything on that?
Yes, Randy. As a matter of fact, I do. I've just returned from the Hutchinson section, and the delegation refuses to comment on the Wax-Hutch dispute. However, Bob Stetson, chairman of the Wax-Deck delegation, is on hand to comment.
I think their action is abominable. We were willing to behave. Now, why weren't they? That's it.
Thank you, Bob. We'll try to get a hold of the Hutchison delegation for comment later.
And as we move into the Office of Girls' Activities, we will note that the candidates whose names will appear on the ballot for election as student body president are Jack Dugan and Jim Lively. Now here's Sylvia to take care of Girls' Activities for us.
Official roll call is now being taken here on the convention floor for Girls' Activities Council by Acting Secretary Joyce Burns. As it stands now, official candidates are Carol Holt, Jane Azevedo, and Kathy Stetson. A surprise nomination was Carol Holt, who, quote, happily accepted. Another surprise was the nomination of Beth Uke, who happily declined.
Now here's Rand with a pertinent comment or two.
Well, Cliff, it would seem that the pace of the convention has slowed down a little, in that the amount of objections have lessened, but that the actual pace of the convention is about the same, just a little more subdued. The action doesn't seem to be quite as heated as it was at the beginning of the convention. Cliff?
Thank you, Rand.
Nominations are still open, with the winners so far, Jane Azevedo and Kathy Stetson. Now for more coverage on the convention floor. A change in procedure. By popular demand, the nominations have been closed. We're moving on now to publicity.
Hillary Huddleston has just been nominated for Commissioner of Publicity.
Hillary, who you hear in the background accepting the nomination for Commissioner of Publicity, shows much poise and charm in front of such a large group in Convention Hall. It is rumored here that Hillary is a graduate of Wendy Ward Charm School and selects all of her clothing exclusively.
Thank you, Sylvia. Now here.
We have moved on to another candidate. Our anchorman, Cliff Nancaro, has just nominated Jim Kelly. Here's Randy with a few words.
Kelly, a favorite in the school play, has decided to try for political limelight as well as the acting limelight. We at the press table wish he and all candidates good luck. He's being recommended by the past 3 publicity commissioners, Mr. Peterson, Nancaro, and Miss Lee.
In the background, you hear Jim Kelly accepting his nomination for the office of Commissioner of Publicity.
Cliff, I'd like to point out at this time that one can see that the chairman, Mr. Gutentag, is tiring, as it is about 15 to 4. You have anything to say on this, Cliff?
Well, Rand, it has been a long day for the chairman of this convention, trying to maintain order among all the different spirited delegates. It's been a great day, and I know that Lucas is beginning to feel the effects of all the pressure and tension that has been mounting here at convention headquarters. And now here's Sylvia Cartwright with a follow-up report on our earlier interview with Chief of Convention Police David Kistler.
For all you ladies who are sickened at the sight of blood and violence, we have an exclusive interview with Officer Dave Kistler, Chief of Convention Control, on how his forces have handled today's convention in a non-violent manner.
Well, Sylvia, we have found the delegates to be most cooperative and orderly throughout today's affairs. We have been called into action only on a few occasions, and generally a simple reprimand has been proven effective.
Officer Kistler, how have you been spending your time this afternoon since it has been so quiet?
Well, Sylvia, I have busily... Got that out over there. I have busied myself exercising the Doberman in the corridor and keeping a general eye on the convention proceedings and...
Thank you, David. Balloting is now in process for the Officer of Commissioner of Publicity, with the names of Jennifer Jacob, Jim Kelly, Hillary Huddleston, and Lance Mortensen in the running. This is Lance's first plunge into politics here at Piedmont High School, since he's transferred here from Oakland High. Acting Secretary Brenda Williamson has just announced that the 2 candidates to go on the ballot for the general election will be Jim Kelly and Hillary Huddleston. Nominations have just been opened by Chairman Lucas Gutentag for the last office for consideration today, that of Chief Justice. As Becky Morrison puts Allison Clark's name in nomination for the office of Chief Justice, we confirm a report that we had for you previously. Allison Clark follows hot on the heels of Ken Strong, Buzz Toonen, and Scott Taylor as nominees for this office.